Those of you who have watched not only this podcast, but have heard me talk on Twitch at some point when I am live on there, which is most days during the week, you'll know that I am I'm a huge Metallica fan.
It's one of your top three.
It is definitely one of my top three bands of all time. The
Absolutely.
other two would be
Led Zeppelin.
That is correct.
Tool.
That is correct. Those are my top three bands of all time. Comment in the chat if you don't like any of those. Yeah, so there is a lot of usually sometimes negative, sometimes positive about when bands or famous people get either into the whiskey or tequila, any of these kind of brands. And that can kind of be a scary thing. Thankfully, I would say when we have had other blackened whiskeys before, taking the Metallica tax aside, as I like to call it, because sometimes it's going to be a little more expensive for these because they have their name on it.
Right.
I think they've actually been pretty good. We've liked them, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Yeah, we have.
We have had multiple. We've had the regular blackened whiskey. It was either batch 88 or 89. You can go to the archives here on YouTube and check any of that stuff out. And then we've also done the cask strength, which I think is still my favorite. That is 113 proof. I have the batch 112. That one has been fantastic. This whole project was started not only by them, but also by Dave Pickrell, who is no longer with us.
Right.
So they have moved on to a man that I cannot remember his name, and I feel terrible about it, but his mutton chops are absolutely fantastic. I think we joked about last time that I could actually swing from them. They're so glorious. So we have another limited release blackened whiskey for this Give It a Shot. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Keith, and we are About Beverages. And the beverage that we are about today is the Blackened Rye the Lightning, 100%. Well, not 100%.
It's 100% rye. You're
100% rye. 100% rye whiskey. It's also aged in two kinds of oak. Right?
That is correct. Okay. It is double cask matured. It is in Madeira and Rum Casks.
Okay.
It is still 90 proof, which is the same proof as their regular blackened whiskey. So it is. For some reason, I kept thinking it was 100 proof, but the 100% is actually what I was thinking of.
Okay.
100% rye on this one, and like I said, double cask matured. So as you can see, this is the first time I am cracking the seal on this. Have not even opened it. The thing that goes across all of the blackened whiskey is they have a whole sonic noise. I think it's trademarked in some fashion. Again, some people may call it a gimmick, but this is what they do. All of these whiskeys are barrel aged to a certain soundtrack. Some of them have been picked by different artists in the band. Some of them have been picked by the distiller himself. This one in particular, since it is Rye the Lightning, has been distilled and sonically enhanced by having speakers on either side of the barrel playing at probably proper loud Metallica volume, as it was what I'm going to guess. The entire Ride the Lightning album, but not the actual original recordings, but actually a live recording that they did in 2012 at an Orion Music Festival. So kind of like I said, a slightly updated version, but like I said, full complete album is what this got some love to. So we're going to find out if that helps, hurts, doesn't make a difference one way or the other. Like all
we
that
wouldn't
kind of
really know because we don't have a non-conditioned.
That's true.
Bottle.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Do you think if I asked them nicely, if they would tell me
a component? Yeah, they actually have it included. It's a set. You can have. It's a small bottle of it before it went into casks maybe that were not sonically enhanced.
That would actually be
That'd
really
be kind
cool.
of a cool gift set,
that would be very interesting. Yeah. Blackened whiskey, Metallica. If you're listening to this, if somehow you've gotten a hold of this podcast, let me know if that is an opportunity that maybe only we could share. We could fly out to wherever you do this. We would be happy to do it.
Yeah.
We will fly out. We will taste it before it's gotten sonically enhanced, and then come back at whatever predetermined time frame to taste it again. We will definitely do that. It is the color bourbon.
The color bourbon. On the slightly lighter side.
I was going to say that maybe too.
Side.
It does kind of actually look similar to this picture here, I would say. Like I said, a little bit on the lighter side.
Yep.
Madeira and Rum Casks, at least Rum Cask specifically, we've been used to that and have had it before when it came to the Caribbean cask, the Angel's Envy, which we thought was absolutely delicious. That was 100 proof. That was also a rye. That would maybe have been a slightly interesting comparison. That one was a little on the sweeter side. I know some people almost too sweet. Right. So that'd probably be my only thing that I'm maybe nervous about, but we shall see.
Maybe it'll counteract the spicy of the rye. Who knows?
I think that is at least the right decision to make. So to the aroma?
Yes.
There's a lot going on in there.
Yep. We agreed off air that to keep this succinct, I would just say yep to whatever he said.
Stop it.
No, I'm
what
just kidding.
What are you getting out of this rye whiskey?
It's oddly light, but yet there is a lot going on in there. I agree. There's nothing heavy. I get a little bit of sweet. I get a little bit of there's a caramely, there's a little something fruit, and then at the end there is a little bit of, I get a little smoke actually. On a deep inhale, I get some smoke.
So I get like some mint in there. I get the caramel that you talked about, and then I think from the rum casks, I'm getting like something that's almost like a spice cake or some sort of holiday cake. Like I don't want to say a fruit cake because that kind of usually for most people is a negative connotation, but it's kind of like it's some sort of spiced cakey notes. Like I said, the caramel, the burnt crust. Like I said, a little bit of the wood is in there, a little bit of smoke. There's a lot going on in here, but yeah, it's also weirdly light in a way, which is kind of interesting. It's not like a lot of heavy flavors. It's very aromatic, and I like it. I think the aroma smells really good.
Yeah.
The taste?
Yep. Overall, I don't get as much in the taste as I did in the aroma. It is still light, but there's flavor. I get the spice. And maybe because you said it before, it's refreshing because there is like a little bit of like mint leaf in there.
Yeah, the mint really kind of keeps coming through, which is nice.
Which actually makes it refreshing. Is too much, but it
has a cooling flavor, like a cooling
sort of cleansing
sensation after. Yeah, exactly.
But to me, there's not as much going on in there as I wanted there to be in the taste. But it's smooth.
I would say definitely some of the subtler notes that I talked about in the aroma have kind of gone away.
Right.
There's a nice spice definitely on the front of my tongue that kind of keeps hitting, which is nice. Like I said, the rye heat is definitely there on the finish. I wish it had slightly more body, like as you kind of do with anything that's 90-ish proof, at least for me. Everyone's mileage may vary wherever you may roam. But
nice.
This one in particular, like I still get the nice little bit of sweetness. The mint definitely still comes through, which is really good. I really like it. I like it that it is very different than the other blackened whiskeys that I have.
Right.
And I think it's very enjoyable. Now, the thing then we talk about is not only the Metallica tax, but the limited release tax. Total wine, around $75.
Right.
Is this a $75 bottle of whiskey? For me, who is a Metallica fan and enjoys whiskey, it is. Would I buy another one? Maybe. I'm gonna do the Keith. Maybe under certain situations. Like I said, it's not one like for me the cask strength that we have had previously. That one, anytime if I saw that and I either was low or did not have I would grab another one of those. That one is excellent. I like a lot of the flavors in that, and I like that higher proof goes a long way with
me.
This one being 90 proof, I would love to try this at a cask strength. I bet it's more fantastic, has a little more viscosity to it. But like I said, I think there is some oiliness to the body, but again, for the most part, it is a little on the thinner side.
Right.
But I think the mint is very unique. Like I said, that flavor, like I said, and some of that kind of like, I'm still getting a little bit of the spice cake. I'm just getting a little bit of the oak and the smoke that I got in the aroma.
Right.
I wish I got some of that in the flavor. But like I said, the aroma to me is like an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
And then the flavor to me is like a 6 or 7 out of 10. Like it kind of just drops down just a little bit.
I would agree.
Those two combined, I think are still very good. But again, everybody's going to have their own price ranges of, where they would have, but I am very glad to have this bottle. And like I said, depending on if it is super limited and I can't find any, if it starts to turn to that, I might want to have another bottle around for me as someone that likes, like I said, obviously likes Metallica and likes, having a wide range of whiskeys on the shelf. I think it is still a quality made product. Like I said, you are paying a little bit more because it is obviously all the things we just talked about.
Right.
And all of, like I said, the uniqueness around it, which I think is super cool. But again, that may not go anywhere from you and you'd rather have something else. And like I said, that is obviously totally fine as well. And what is also totally fine, shockingly, is our website, AboutBeverages.com, where you can find all of the reviews for not only all the other blackened whiskeys that we've tried, including the regular blackened. We've multiple batches of that. We have had the cask strength, which we liked quite a bit. And obviously this one too will be up somewhere time and near in the future. If you missed any of the archive of this, or if you're watching this in archive format on YouTube, appreciate that. Hit the subscribe there. You can find all of our ladies' videos there as well. If you only want us in audio format, Spotify, Google Podcast, iTunes, all great places that you can hit subscribe and find us. If you have a favorite podcasting app, search for About Beverages. You can probably find us there as well.
Hopefully we will be there.
And when you've done that search, probably some other stuff is going to come up, right?
Those social media things. The social media, the 3 pillars, that's what we call them, which for us are TikTok, Instagram and Twitter, which is the one that we use most often to keep you up to date with what's going on here at About Beverages. Like earlier this evening when I posted that we were about to go live on twitch.tv/AboutBeverages, which we do most Thursday evenings around 4:30 Pacific. 7:30 Eastern, something like that. Who knows what happens when the time changes again? If it stays that way, who knows? But Thursday evenings is usually when you will find us here hanging out, trying some beverages, interacting with those who drop in for chat. And also throughout the week, Andrew's going to keep you up to date on Twitter with what he is doing in the gaming world, what he's drinking while he's doing that. So for all
could
the
be
latest, could be that, of course, for Whiskey Wednesday.
It could be.
Yes.
Exactly.
So for all the latest at About Beverages, follow us on Twitter.
But as we always say, whether we like it or not,
You should give it a lightning shot.